guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, of course, welcome. I'm Mand. So today's video I'm super excited to do because it's all about the Banshee. I'm sure most of us have heard. If not, sit back, relax, and let's get into some things about the Banshee and what is she and where did she originate from and all that fun stuff. So let's get to it. So to shorten it in so many terms, just to give you a rough idea, the Banshee is one of the more intimidating fairies. She is a fairy woman who appears at the site of death in the middle of the night and lets out this high pitch, eerie screech or scream. So the origins of a Banshee is actually quite ordinary compared to some of the stories that are told about the Banshee. In medieval times, during a funeral, a woman would take on the role as a keener, and they would sing sad songs by the graveside. And the more popular the keener was, the more sought after they were, because it was actually quite a good business to be in. And of course, the more popular a family is, the better the keener would be and the more sought after she would be. And it is believed that the more people that were there mourning, the more talented she was. So the most powerful of families are believed to have hired fairy women to sing as keeners at funerals. And if you've seen in one of my videos I mentioned ages ago, fairies allegedly are far more talented singers than humans. Originally, the Banshee appeared to people who were about to suffer a violent and painful death, such as murder. The other belief was that she appeared outside their door but was rarely seen, and this is normally in wooded areas. Now, cynics believe that these are just wife tales and that it's possible it could have been a barn owl or vixens. Apparently their cries are very similar to a woman screeching or wailing. Now, the Banshee is described as an old ugly hag who wears like white or grey clothes, has long silver hair, and can take on the form of a crow, hare, weasel, which is associated here in Ireland with witchcraft. There are many guises that the Banshee can take on. Now, the most popular one that people would describe her as is, as I said, an ugly old hag. She's crouched over, she's a very wrinkly and horrible face, so not very attractive. But then the other guise that she allegedly can take on is quite the opposite on this spectrum. She's quite a beautiful young woman, and in other stories then she's actually referred to a ghost of a woman who has been murdered or who's died in childbirth. In all the cases, they all do agree that she has long silver hair, which she can be seen brushing with a silver comb. So that is why that superstition on why people wouldn't pick up a comb is in the fear that they would be taken away by the fairies. Now, she wears a grey hooded cloak or a white sheet or a grave robe of death. She has red eyes from crying. Her cry seems to be a bit of a debate though, because in some places they say that she has a very shrill, high-pitched wail that could shatter glass. Another one says that it sounds like two boards being struck together. And then others say it's quite pleasant singing. But one thing they can all agree on is that she can be heard a great distance. And some then say they hear her several nights in a row before a death occurs, or some just say they've heard her once. Sometimes the intensity is very high or it's very low, but like I said, the one thing that they can agree on, it can be heard a great distance away. There has been some cases where people have heard, allegedly, the banshee cry, and somebody of perfect health has died of a freak accident. But of course, like I said, these are all superstitions, and there are so many tales that surround this woman. Allegedly, she was quite actually a happy person who had a great life. She was very beautiful, but some great sorrow came to her life, and she just became a very old and haggard woman, and she just became the person or the legend that she is now, or myth. When the banshee moved from place to place, witnesses have said that they've heard like fluttering sounds, and when she disappears, apparently there is a cloud of mist. Now, in some places around Ireland, there is a wedge of rock that is known as Banshee, a Banshee Chair, something like that. And she apparently sits there and wails for the misfortunes. The banshee is relatively harmless, apart from the fear of people hearing her wails, which signifies the death of someone. And the only other kind of scary thing that she would do is knock on windows and doors. But legend has it that she has a sister whose Irish name I will put up here because I can't pronounce it, but it translates to Sweetheart Fairy, and she was a lot more malicious than the banshee because she used to lure men and they would fall in love with her and eventually ultimately go insane, and that would lead to an awful destruction of them. Now, another thing I remember hearing, and I found this in my research, is that the banshee's wail or screech can only be heard by certain families, beginning with O or Mac. Now, another thing that was said that she follows 5 major families, and I will list them here. But there's kind of a bit of a discrepancy there because they're not really sure, because a lot of Irish names would have been translated into English now, so I don't know how true that is, but I do remember hearing that if your surname, sorry, I should have been more specific there, your surname started with like an O, so I think one of the families is O'Neill or Mock, then you're more than likely able to hear the banshee's wail. So to finish up this video, I will tell you a small tale that I was told many years ago. It was actually quite small and it absolutely terrified me because as a young person you tend to believe these tales. But a long time ago we used to go camping back at this beach, and there was an elderly lady there, and she was notorious for telling scary stories. So I suppose my love of the paranormal and scary stories really do stem from a young age. But I remember specifically this story because it genuinely terrified me. That allegedly she had met the banshee, or that's what she told us. I like to believe that she was only trying to scare us as small kids. I mean, she genuinely did scare so many kids with the story. But from what I can remember, she said she was walking down a road. Roughly now, I can't remember the full story. But she came across this crouched over lady with like long silver hair, and she was combing it with a silver comb. And something about the old lady turned around to her and asked her, did she have a toothpick or something to pick the clay out of her teeth? The way she told this story just gave me chills, like all up my arms, and oh my god, I couldn't sleep for weeks after hearing the story. It's probably not as scary as I told it, but it's just the way she turned around and her whole face changed as she was telling the story, and I was like, oh my god. Like, talk about nightmares for ages after. But yeah, allegedly she met the banshee. Now, she never told us if somebody had died, but she never said she wailed, but I remember specifically her saying that this old haggard crouched over lady turned around and asked her, did she have something to pick the clay out of her teeth? I was like, oh, just give me chills. And even talking about it now, I can still remember her telling me, and it was just but yes, So don't tell young kids creepy stories like that, because we will remember for a very long time. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and give you a bit of an insight on what the Banshee is and the origins of it and all that fun stuff. I hope I covered everything on it. There's just endless accounts on her, really, to be quite honest. If you like this video, please do give it a huge thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And if you like my channel, please do subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of the family. I do kind of a variety of videos, not always superstitions and paranormal and spiritual, and just a whole concoction of stuff, really, to be honest. If you want to be notified when I upload, hit the bell. I'm trying to get back into a regular routine of uploading. And of course, leave a comment down below. Have you any Banshee stories? Have you ever heard any of her wails? Do let me know. I'd love to know. Guys, sending you so much love and light your way. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.